We are
Life Out Loud.
Okay.
We are the host of Life Out Loud.
Yes.
I'm Queenie.
And I'm Lili.
Today we'll be doing a Valentine's themed podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking about love languages.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking about how to keep a spark going
Yes.
in a relationship, and
Yes.
also
Talking about
how singles,
single
you know,
yeah.
play
Single
around.
life.
Single
Play around.
single around.
Okay, so let's first start with the love language. Mm-hmm.
Have you done the love language test before?
I have
Yeah.
several times,
Okay.
as a matter of fact, because I couldn't accept my love language.
Which was?
It's physical touch every time.
Okay.
I didn't think I was a touchy person, but it turns out I'm very physical. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
does that mean that you like being physically, or like you receive it that way?
I think maybe I do both.
Okay,
I do both.
So both ways is physical touch for you.
Yeah, yes, it's physical touch. I ain't gonna lie. Recently, I've converted also to receiving gifts because I love gift giving and receiving gifts as well. But physical touch is still number one. Yeah.
And physical touch doesn't always have to be like sexual in nature, right?
Oh,
It
no,
can
no, no.
also be like things like a hug or like
Right.
kind of like a pat in the back kind of thing,
Right,
right?
right.
So I think it's,
Like cuddling,
yeah,
you know?
cuddling, yeah.
It's like when your man is washing dishes, you go and give him a slap on the back, like, hey. You know, it's a physical touch. The small things, small things. What about you?
My love language, I think, is quality time, actually. Yeah.
Quality time.
Like, that's like
solid.
the top one. And then I think it's acts of service.
Acts of service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But words of affirmation is also high. all of them. But my physical touch is always on the bottom.
So we're like the opposite of each other.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But that's why, we're doing podcasts, because I think,
we can learn from one another.
Exactly.
Has there been any like conflict between like you and your partner and your love languages?
Eric's love language is also acts of service.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
He likes to do things. I think he likes both. So he likes, to provide service for people and also receive it in return, kind of. So he is not a man of a lot of words, I guess. But he likes to also love, the words of affirmation too.
He likes to receive it, you mean?
Yes, he likes to receive it. Like, he loves being called handsome. He loves to be, appreciated pretty much for everything.
Are you good at words of affirmation?
No, I'm not. I'm still learning. Like, every time he does something for me, he really wants me to say thank you. And sometimes I forget, and sometimes I say thank you. And then he's like, I didn't hear it. I'm like, say thank you. So it's difficult for me because, like, as an Asian, growing up, it's like we don't really say that a lot, you know? So it's kind of weird for me to have to say thank you to everything. I'm like, that's just expected. But then I learned through my relationship that it's important to say thank you.
It's important. Yeah. I think even for my ex and my past relationship, words of affirmation is high up there. I think for guys, because I think they need some sort of like reassurance that like they're doing well.
Right. The next topic that we're going to talk about is how do you keep your relationship fresh and passionate?
Yeah. How do you keep the sparks going in a relationship?
Right.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your relationship with Eric.
So a little background about me and my husband. We've been dating together, married and dating, in total of 7 years, almost 7. I think I started kind of towards the end of 2017, I believe, kind of like December of 2017. So it's been quite a while, I guess almost pushing 8 years if I really think about it. Got married officially in 2023. So by then, I think we've been dating for definitely over 5 years, I want to say. That's pretty much the gist of it, I think I'm always the type of person who dates people for a long time. Like, all my relationship lasts pretty long, minus my first boyfriend. I like to think of myself as, dating for the long game. I'm not date someone if I don't think I'm going to marry them.
Just a question, between your relationships, what was the longest break where you didn't have a boyfriend?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not embarrassed to say this, and I'm gonna be honest, ever since I started dating my first boyfriend, I kind of just opened the door to dating, and I really don't have too much cool down time.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're
between
a serial
the
dater.
next. Well, I guess by definition, I suppose. I mean, it was maybe like the longest, maybe 2 months, maybe a month, 2 months, like in between. But really, it's because, when I decided that I'm going to break up with someone, or if I feel like they're breaking up with me, vice versa, usually there's an issue in the relationship for a long time already. And I think both of us know that. So, mentally speaking, like we all know it was gonna end. So it wasn't like out of nowhere, we're in love and someone breaks up. It's more like we kind of accepted it, at least for like sometimes like over 6 months. Like you're kind of just dragging it on. I'm mentally checked out and physically checked out. And then by the time someone finally pulls the plug, like, hey, we're gonna break up, it was like, I feel like I've been breaking up with him for like a long
like
time.
in my mind, I already broke up with you. Are you usually the one who breaks it up, or are you usually the one who kind of like waits until the other person, or like there's like a conflict and then you're like, let's just end it?
That's a really good question. I actually, I do tend to break up a lot. But guys, only I haven't been like through relationship totals. Whether or not the other person accepts it, now that's a different question. And usually, what happens is if the other person doesn't accept it, and then I'm
Can
like,
they not accept it?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
they can.
Like I reject your breakup.
Yes, no, there is. I don't know. Like, obviously, it's not.
Like, do they like talk you into staying in the relationship?
Yeah.
They're like, Lily, give me one more chance.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're like, fine.
Yeah. Well, it's not as flat as that. It's more. It's an emotional roller coaster, dude. Because you have to think like that is a guy that you've been dating, and you guys at one time were in love. So when that person like says, "Oh, please give me another chance," like I'll take good care of you. We can do this together. Didn't you say you always wanted to do this? So let's do it.
Yeah.
Like it hits me. I'm just like, oh, okay. And he's tearing up, and I'm tearing up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's just give it one more go. Maybe I was too like rushed into breaking things off. But things never end well. So, once you want to break out the first time, usually it's a signal, like at least to me.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
the main question was, how do you keep the relationship going?
Yes.
Now that you gave us a really thorough,
my dating history. My goodness.
exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, we can talk about how you keep the sparks going. Yeah.
I am happy to share. Even though me and my husband has been dating for a long time, I think considering like 7 to 8 years, it's a long time. We're still very much, I would like to say, knock on wood, we're very much in love. And I think like sometimes you fall out of love because of something silly, but then you kind of jump back into it. And I think the secret or the key to having that long lasting relationship is kind of like understanding the fundamentals. Fundamentals is what I like to call like the 3 phrases. We're always there for each other. We're always there to like love each other, and we'll always be there, support each other. So there are some, everyone's is different, but this is our fundamental like agreements that doesn't matter what we might get into big fights and stuff like that, as long as we mutually agree that these 3 are still accurate and the truth, then we don't, I guess, as overreacting to certain things, and then we kind of like learn to like let it go and talk it out. Always talk it out when you guys have fights. Communication is the key. And like, just even though you guys are not dating anymore, like try to find the little things that, it's attractive about him. Yeah, so I heard recently, guys, this is also my first time. I haven't heard from Queenie yet that she went on a date. So I would love to hear more.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I went on a date with this guy on Saturday. I don't know if it's actually a date. He just, it was originally supposed to like we go on a hike together, but then it was raining on Saturday. So then we ended up just going to a restaurant and then going to Valley Fair. I don't know if I can say this in front of the camera.
Why not?
I don't like him.
It's okay. I mean, you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
It's not like he's gonna hear this podcast.
That's true.
Like, that's fine.
I think I don't like men who talk too much. It's like he wasn't even just talking about himself.
Yeah.
He was almost like coming across kind of like a preacher or like some sort of teacher of something, like, because every sentence or like every time he starts a conversation, he'll kind of talk about the subject kind of like far off from himself. It's very hard for me to describe it. I think it's called mansplaining. Do you know the term?
Mansplaining?
Yeah. Mansplaining. Like,
No.
like some men, some guys just like to like explain things. And it's not like you even asked a question. He's just explaining.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, like, me knowing Queenie, I think you're really good at asking questions, actually. So, I don't know, like, did you ask him any questions? Is that why he kept talking, or?
I had very little questions for him, and he actually asked me, like, oh, like, do you have any questions for me? And
is this like an interview? Like,
my cat is going crazy.
Gosh, what happened?
I don't know. Usually I am the type to ask a lot of questions, right? Like, even when I'm in the car with you and Eric, or like even with my other friends, I'm typically the one who's kind of like the question generator.
Right.
But
You really are.
I really am, yeah. But the questions weren't being transplanted into my mind, not because I was nervous or anything, but because I think I was genuinely like uninterested in him. Also, because he was like overly positive. So like usually like when I ask my friends like, how are you, like how's
your
work,
week?
right, they'll maybe complain a little bit about something related to drama in the workplace, right, and then so I'll be like, oh yeah, tell me more. But then if someone is like, I woke up today and I took a shower and life is great, I'm like,
God,
okay, like I have nothing to ask. Like I'm not gonna ask about your shower routine.
Is that what you really said? Like, life is great. I woke up and showered today.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, and here I am meeting you, and you're great. I'm like, oh God.
So cringy. Like, I'm sorry, but these people are really cringy.
I'm like, is it just me, or like, am I not able to like interact with someone who's overly like positive?
I think they're very people like us, like, we have like our highs and lows, and like, unfortunately, when we're kind of low and you're super high, it makes us even lower. You know what I mean? It sucks the energy out of you.
Actually, it really does.
Yeah, you're just like,
oh, okay. You know? Yeah, it feels like it's like unrelatable to me, because like I always experience like life in both positives and negatives, and maybe the negatives are usually stronger than the positive. But then if someone's just like being so blatantly positive, I have like nothing to talk to you about. And maybe that's because like I guess like we're nurses, right? And then I don't know, maybe I just like to dig into all the negative like mindsets
the
and
emotions.
Like, like to fix things about people. Maybe, like, I don't know, but it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Did he try any moves on you though, other
What
than
moves?
like holding your hand or giving you a hug or anything like that?
No.
It's very cordial.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect that.
I'm a very conservative person, so then I think my body language is just like,
closed
don't
off.
touch me. Stay in your lane.
This is probably, I can imagine this is Queenie. Like, if you were the guy, okay, and I'm Queenie, and you were walking together, you'd be like this.
Oh, no. Okay, I hear that there's this thing that you need to do whenever you're in a social situation. And you want an easy way out. Always hold a cup. Or like something in your hand. So then I was holding an umbrella because it's raining.
Right.
And then when we were in the mall, I had, We're Not Really Strangers, the card game.
Why are you holding a card game?
It's... okay. The context to it is when we were planning to go hike, he was asking me like, oh, do you like Catan? And that's like also another board game, but it's like a really long board game. So then I thought that he would want to play something or like, have something between us that we can interact with. So then I brought We're Not Really Strangers along with me. Kind of like a get to know each other card game. Like it asks us questions about like, what's your first impression of me? And then it also asks us like deeper questions. So then I had that in my hand.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Anyway, that's what I was saying in terms of like I always have something in my hand.
Yeah.
So then like there's no way he can make any move. Yeah.
I mean, technically, but like you don't really like making moves though. Like it could be something slick. Like if we're sitting next to each other like this, I'd be like, you know, like kind of like, ooh, and then you put your arm around like this, you know, and then you see how she reacts. You know, if she kind of gets like, and then you stop, and you gently like.
I feel like that's not very slick.
Is it not slick like this?
And I think there was no opportunity for that because we weren't sitting like side by side. We were sitting in opposite like armchairs kind of thing.
I think then I would do like so if for example if it was me like if I'm a dude, I'm embodying him right
You're
now.
a dude. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a dude. So if she's sitting opposite of me and then there's like no table in front of us or something, I might like casually reach out my like my feet.
Okay, you're definitely physical touch.
I'll be like, oh, let's see how big your feet like compares to mine or something like that. You know, like it'll be like, oh, your feet is so small, and I'll be like,
okay,
no,
I think it only works because you're a girl. But if a guy does that,
yeah,
it's like, bro, what the fuck?
That's true. I wasn't thinking about that. Okay, as a girl, I guess girls
or
to
like,
girls,
or like,
it's
like
cute.
if it's a girl, like, oh, let's compare hands.
Ah,
oh my god, your hands are so big.
Actually, guys do that all the time. They'll be like, oh, let's compare your hand. Your hand's so small, and they'll just be like this. I got you. I swear that's a move.
Okay, none of these things that you said happened, okay?
Okay.
Maybe she just doesn't have game, or I just
Hey.
didn't process any of them.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to go on dates.
Yeah.
I am not looking for a relationship. I don't think I'm, in the right mindset or like life stage to be. Yeah, I was actually like, I am gonna swear off men for like 3 years. I think men are sometimes distractions.
It's true, but like sometimes when people always say like, "Oh, I'm gonna swear off man" or like whatever, they could, like literally the next month or something, they have a boyfriend. Like
that's
it's
very
done.
true.
It's done, dude.
Yeah,
It's
I hear about that.
It's like a drug. You know what I mean? Like you're like, nah.
But I'm very good at it.
Anymore.
The last time I had a relationship prior to my ex was, I think, like 3-4 years in between. Yeah.
I think, but that you weren't really actively looking for.
No, exactly.
Even with your last relationship, it kind of just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life just happens to me.
It just happens. You're not.
I don't
actively
actively seek things out.
Yeah.
They just come and they just go.
You're like, I'm just an open door. People come in and
they leave. This is the editing Queenie popping in because we actually ran out of battery when we were recording, so we didn't have like a proper ending. But yeah, that is basically it for this episode. I know we went on a bit of a tangent. It was a little bit more, personal stories and a little bit more candid. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe, follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you're catching us on. And Lily and I will catch you in 2 weeks where we'll be talking about procrastination. Yeah. Bye.